Have you ever dreamt of becoming a billionaire? For most of us, it's just a fantasy. But what if I told you there's a place where everyone is a billionaire, at least on paper? Welcome to Zimbabwe, where a loaf of bread once cost billions. This isn't fiction. It's the true story of a country where money lost all meaning. In Zimbabwe, during a period of wild hyperinflation, the national currency became almost worthless. Prices could double in hours. Imagine waking up a billionaire only to find your fortune can't buy a bottle of milk by lunchtime. For travelers, it's surreal. You exchange a few pounds for a stack of notes too thick for your wallet, including the legendary $100 trillion bill. It feels like monopoly money, but for Zimbabweans, it was a daily struggle. The real story isn't about the numbers on the notes, but about the resilience of the people who lived through it. Visiting Zimbabwe means witnessing how communities adapt and hope survives, even in the darkest times. This journey isn't just about landscapes or wildlife. It's about understanding a nation's extraordinary recent history. And you'll leave with more than $1 trillion souvenir. You'll carry stories of human endurance. The $100 trillion note is Zimbabwe's most infamous symbol, a banknote worth more as a souvenir than as money. It's the largest denomination ever issued, covered in zeros and irony, featuring the Chiremba balancing rocks. At its peak, this note could barely buy a bus ticket. Hyperinflation forced the government to print ever larger bills, thousands, millions, billions, then trillions. Each new note was instantly swallowed by rising prices. People carried bags of cash for groceries, counting stacks of bills for the simplest purchases. Wages had to be spent immediately before they lost value by the hour. Eventually, businesses stopped accepting Zimbabwean dollars, switching to US dollars or South African rand. In 2009, Zimbabwe abandoned its currency, ending the chaos. Today, these notes are sold to tourists, a strange afterlife for a failed currency. For a few pounds, you can become a trillionaire, but the real value is the lesson. When money loses trust, it loses everything. The notes are a tangible reminder of a time when an economy spun out of control. They're a quirky keepsake and a warning from history. How does a country end up printing $100 trillion notes? Zimbabwe's crisis began with land, politics, and disastrous economic choices. Years of inequality led to chaotic land reforms in the early 2000s, disrupting the backbone of the economy, commercial farming. With exports and foreign currency earnings collapsing, the government faced a huge budget shortfall. Instead of tough reforms, they printed money to pay bills and salaries. More money, fewer goods. Basic economics says the value of money falls. Prices soared, the currency spiraled, and hyperinflation took hold. Each round of printing made things worse, creating a vicious cycle. Confidence in the Zimbabwean dollar collapsed. People spent cash as fast as they got it. The money became meaningless, just colorful paper with endless zeros. The government's desperate printing press couldn't keep up with reality. In the end, the currency was abandoned, and the country was forced to start over. Zimbabwe's story is a stark lesson in how quickly trust in money can vanish. When that trust is gone, so is the value. For ordinary Zimbabweans, hyperinflation turned daily life into a battle. Savings evaporated. Pensions and bank balances became worthless. Supermarket shelves were often empty, and when goods appeared, prices changed by the hour. People carried cash in bags or wheelbarrows, not because they were rich, but because the notes were nearly worthless. Professionals like doctors and teachers saw their salaries become meaningless, forcing many to leave the country. Schools and hospitals struggled, and the nation's infrastructure crumbled. Yet Zimbabweans adapted, bartering goods, relying on family abroad for foreign currency, and building informal networks to survive. A bag of maize might be traded for petrol or a mechanic's work for a chicken. US dollars sent from relatives became a lifeline. Through it all, the people's resilience and ingenuity shone. Even in the darkest times, communities found ways to support each other. Survival became an act of creativity and solidarity. To see Zimbabwe's true spirit during the crisis, you had to visit the markets. Here, the official currency was useless. Barter and foreign cash ruled. Markets like Mbare Musica in Harare buzzed with trade, not in dollars, but in goods and services. Tomatoes for t-shirts, carpentry for vegetables. People swapped what they had for what they needed. The US dollar became the unofficial king, creating a two-tier society. those with foreign currency and those without. Prices in US dollars stayed steady, while Zimbabwean dollar prices soared daily. The market dollarized itself before the government did. These markets were a living economics lesson. When trust in money fails, people invent new ways to trade. Barter and foreign cash replaced broken promises. Even as the formal system collapsed, the need to connect and provide endured. Zimbabwe's markets proved that human ingenuity always finds a way. When money fails, community and creativity take over. As Zimbabwe is more than its economic turmoil, it's a land of breathtaking beauty. Nowhere is this clearer than Victoria Falls, the smoke that thunders. Standing before the roaring cascade, you feel the raw power of nature. Rainbows shimmer in the mist, and the spray nourishes a lush rainforest. The town of Victoria Falls is an adventure hub. Whitewater rafting, bungee jumping, and helicopter flights offer thrills and stunning views. But there's also serenity. Sunset cruises on the Zambezi, elephants at the riverbank, hippos in the shallows. The falls are a reminder of Zimbabwe's enduring natural wonders. Despite economic storms, the beauty remains untouched. Here, you witness the timeless side of Zimbabwe, a place of awe and peace. It's a must-see for any traveler. What truly defines Zimbabwe is its people, their resilience, warmth, and hope. Despite years of hardship, Zimbabweans remain welcoming, kind, and full of humor. Their spirit is the nation's greatest treasure, felt in every smile and conversation. Hospitality isn't just for tourists, it's woven into daily life. Communities support each other, artists and musicians create beauty from struggle, and laughter echoes through the markets. This resilience is born of necessity, forged in adversity. Families and neighbors pull together, relying on ingenuity and solidarity. Visiting Zimbabwe means meeting people who redefine strength and hope. Their stories challenge the headlines and reveal the heart behind the statistics. The true wealth of Zimbabwe is found in its unbreakable human spirit. Meeting its people is an unforgettable experience. After years of turmoil, hope is returning to Zimbabwe. Hyperinflation is over. The US dollar and a new gold-backed currency, the ZiG, have brought stability. Life is still tough, but chaos has faded into memory. Young Zimbabweans are driving change, opening cafes, tech hubs, and small businesses. A creative scene is blossoming, with artists and entrepreneurs gaining recognition. The focus is shifting from dependence to innovation and local talent. Challenges remain: poverty, infrastructure, and politics. But the conversation is about possibilities. People are rebuilding agriculture, attracting investment, and harnessing natural resources. For travelers, it's a chance to witness a nation in transformation. Every dollar spent supports recovery and growth. By visiting, you become part of Zimbabwe's new story, a story of resilience and renewal. The future is uncertain, but hope is alive. Should you visit Zimbabwe? Absolutely. This is a country that will challenge your perceptions and touch your heart. It's a destination for the curious, for those who want to understand the world's complexity. Come for the sights: Victoria Falls, Hwange's elephants, Great Zimbabwe's ruins, the Matobo Hills. But more importantly, come for the people, their resilience, warmth, and stories. These connections turn a trip into a life-changing journey. You'll leave with more than photos or a $1 trillion note. You'll leave with a new perspective on hope and endurance. Travel here is an education, breaking stereotypes and building understanding. Zimbabwe reminds us that behind every headline are real people with dreams and courage. Step off the beaten path and discover the land of billionaires, the smoke that thunders, and the unbreakable human spirit. Zimbabwe is waiting. Come and see for yourself.